Give it a second. We're Hey, welcome aboard for Wednesday night. You got the A game. I'm Rob Agampour from the Shared Universe Studios on the Jersey Shore. The lovely lady to my right. If you are a fan of wrestling, she may not need an introduction, but she's going to get one anyhow. Show off the guns, girl. I love it. From stuntwoman work to wrestling to roller derby to acting, she's done just about everything and involved in the fitness world as well. Her real name, Stephanie Finochio, but we'll go with Action Trinity because, first off, Trinity is the name you know from wrestling. And obviously, this is a brand because her website is actiontrinity.com. Check it out at your leisure. Welcome aboard. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I look at the way you started because I got into radio and I did not have a background in communications. And I noticed that your background had nothing to do with acting or stunt work. I mean, you got a degree, what was it, accounting and psychology?
Yes.
So, I know. Double major.
Hey, all that money. Where'd I go?
Exactly. That's how my father said it. You go 4 years of college and you do this? And I've got a business degree in the math minor. And he's like, I don't know what you're thinking, kid. But how did you get sidetracked? Because obviously this was an interesting curveball into your life.
Well, I was always playing sports and extreme and going to school, but that was never going to cut it. But when I was in school, I went to college for my parents, I mean, I believe in education. You definitely have to have mind and, and be educated. So I'm a stickler for that. So I did all the schooling. I was majoring in accounting and I really didn't love that, but I was doing well. I couldn't drop it. And I liked psychology. So I took that on, double majored in my undergrad and graduated. But my parents brought my father, I'm the second child. So my sister, she was the girl. And then I was brought up like the total tomboy. My dad had a motorcycle shop and I was on snowmobiles, jet skis, motocross since I was a kid. So it was like eventually I was born a stunt woman, just didn't know it yet. The type. So wrestling was coming into the picture through TV and stunt work was something I talked about. And I had relatives out in California. Like, you got to be a stunt person. We come out here. We just did a benefit. My uncle was a race car driver. And I moved out there right after college. Right. And then I did come back and I got my master's in education and became a teacher for a little while.
Ooh, okay.
I definitely work all the angles, mind, body, and soul all the way.
Nice. But get all this education, but then what was the first job you got in the stunt work field that kind of just said, you know what, I think I want to stay in this and this is what I want to do for a while?
Yeah, well, I wanted to move to I always wanted to move to California. My parents weren't in the entertainment industry whatsoever, so I really had no clue. And I had to be doing something athletic and extreme. And when my relatives said, move out here, I moved out there. I was either going to go to college out there, but I finished up here, went there, and I started going to the live stunt shows. I did, Waterworld and Wild West, Batman, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Just from extreme sports, I didn't know there was like a job that you could just do everything that you encompass into one career. So once I did that, I was working out there, and but I did always want to come home, and I realized you could do stunts out here too. Like, I didn't know that. I just thought Hollywood, so I moved right away to Hollywood. And then slowly was coming back here. I had friends that were involved in the UFC and met a stunt coordinator. And then I was able to come out here and do work and be home. But I worked on both coasts, but then eventually settled back here. But my first job, I think that, like I said, the live stunt shows. And then I got like background extra work on some TV shows. I think my first official movie might have been The Rock.
Oh, wow.
I was doubling someone, but not officially.
Yeah, I get you. It's sort of like,
I'll do anything.
Exactly. And that happens a lot, I know, with stunt work. So sometimes it's like you get what they call uncredited. You got the work, you got the check, but you didn't get the props for it, so to speak.
Yeah. And back then, you're just working, you're doing what you love. I didn't care. I was working on so many things, and who knows what was getting. I wasn't even looking at credits. I didn't even know about credits until I worked on a movie, which was funny because our names didn't appear in the credit, and they have to if there's a certain amount of cast members, and you get like penalties for that. And someone called me up that worked on it, like, our names weren't in the credits, we're getting like tons of money penalty. I'm like, what? That was U-Turn, actually. I would double Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, another oldie, but
yeah, but it's interesting. Your resume is pretty impressive when it comes to stunt work. As a matter of fact, I do want to mention that one of the work that you did got recognized by the Screen Actors Guild Awards for Best Stunt Ensemble. That was the Bourne Ultimatum. So, I mean, the weird part of that is, okay, you win the award. There's like hundreds of people done stunts. What do you get the award for 3 days and then you got to ship it to the next guy? I mean, what happens with that?
Yeah, no, it's just like a certificate we get. We don't get that awesome stature or anything. And I mean, we're really lucky because if you just really noticing, it's still a battle. Like, stunts aren't really getting, the accolades, and they're fighting. I think that they're in the Emmys now, and we got a Taurus award for just stunts, but they're trying to get in the gold. It's like it should be a category for sure. I mean, half the movies that are up are total stunt movies, but but then again, I feel like our jobs were kind of like magicians in a way. You're not supposed to. It's the illusion.
Right.
You want to think the actors are working on it. You just love what you did. You didn't need to be known that you were doing it and get the credit for it. You just did it. You got paid. If you want the credit, go be an actor.
Trinity, give me the difference between doing something like, if you're doing stunts on a movie like Daredevil or the Indiana Jones movie that you did, but then you do something like School of Rock. I mean, not that there's going to be a great stunt in School of Rock, but obviously.
Yeah, it's funny what is considered a lot of stunts. You got your big, like, obvious stunts, but then there's a lot of, like, even in TV shows, there's a lot of, if they're the actor is running and they're bumping into people, or someone has to fall or get in the way, or just little stuff like, School of Rock was the person. Jack Black jumped off the stage and we all caught him, because you don't want to trust just anybody to catch you. When you're stage diving and treasure around the audience. So you trust the stunt people. We're very dependable.
See, there's
a reason. Things like that, or even like an explosion, and you might not be the person getting exploded, but you are the buffers. Instead of putting extras close to the danger, you put us all around it.
Trinity, you set me up beautifully. Ming, give me photo number 3 because I want to get into this. And this is a good example. This is a stunt that you were actually showing on YouTube and explaining it. And I found it fascinating. 100 man hours just to create, maybe about 10 seconds of an effect. A lot of people don't realize the work that goes into just creating a stunt, because you got to do it right. You got to do it safe. One slip up could hurt somebody. So. Yeah.
And I think that's why stunt people are different from, and a lot of actors, like, I can do my own stunt, or extras are like, why can't I do that? It's so easy. But that's something we're always thinking 10 steps ahead. We're thinking of what could go wrong. And, the actors are just in the moment of acting, and we have to do so much more than that, because sometimes we have to act and do their part, but then we have to do the stunt and worry about, like, what if the explosion is a little too extra big, or too much fire, or just too much debris hit me. And there's just so much more to it that people don't understand that aspect of our job. And we're always aware and ready. I'm not saying we're perfect and stuff doesn't happen, but that's where our training comes in. That's where our expertise comes in, and safety first. And, we're always thinking about what if, what could, and above and beyond what we're doing. But now that is interesting, because I also did special effects. So I was on both sides of the camera, stunts, special effects. I worked in special effects, which is awesome too. It's so closely related, with stunts, because, they're squibbing us when we get shot, or they're doing all the explosions around us. And, so I got to do that part of it, set the whole explosion up, and then be the actor, away from it. That was my favorite. And we did that for a magazine shoot. And then we winded up putting it in an independent film that I worked on that's not out yet, but.
Okay. Look forward to it.
That scene has been in a lot of parts of my life.
That's cool. And by the way, if you want to check out the whole video, Stephanie does have a YouTube channel, Stephanie Trinity Finochio. Check it out. Be a subscriber. Some real good stuff on there.
All right. I was doing like a little web show for a while. Like I like that end of it too. So how to blow up a car. Who doesn't want to know how to blow up a car?
You did a great job because you really are giving all the ins and outs, and you're really kind of just giving people enough of a, hey, look, you don't realize that this 10 seconds is going to take this. And I love how you outlined it. You outlined it really specifically.
Yeah, like you have to get the car, find the location, set it all up, safety. There's so, like you said, there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
And it is like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. 100 man hours for 10 seconds, but that's the way it works. A lot of people don't realize it.
Same thing with stunts. It could be like weeks of training, and then it's like it might be a 10-second clip, and it might even get edited out, and you're like, oh, that worked.
All right, I got the check right. All right. Trinity's here on the A game. When she got into wrestling, the impact that she made, every pun intended, was for TNA, which was on what is now the Paramount channel. And at the time that TNA came into, I'd say, its peak. I mean, we're just crossing into 2000, so it's about 2002, 2003. The WCW, WWE war is done. So WCW's disappeared. So here's TNA trying to go, you know what? We're going to be the alternative. We're going to come out, and we're going to try to do some different things. And to their credit, even though they didn't have great success, they did a lot of different things, and you made history, too. You actually competed for a men's title in TNA, which was great. You did mixed tags, which was not a big thing in WWE. So you really were on the foreground of a lot of the innovations that TNA Impact was trying to bring.
Yeah. I love that company for giving me those awesome opportunities. And they were letting me, break all boundaries, and they were letting me do everything. They knew I was a stunt woman. They promoted it and they pushed it. And I loved the ride. I was anything. I wanted to jump. I wanted to do everything the guys were doing. I wanted to jump off balconies and off the ropes and be on the cages, and they did. They let me do it all,
which is great. And there again, if you go to her YouTube channel, it's a great montage. It's like what I'm impressed about you as a wrestler. Not only can you carry a storyline, which I when I interviewed Bully Ray from the Dudley Boys, he said storyline is so important. Any decent wrestler can do the physical stuff, but you still got to do the storyline, and you can actually do both of these things so well. And you have like every damn move in the book. And I guess that's where being so physically strong, doing the stunt work, this became a natural transition for you, I would think.
Yes. The stunt work, helped me, get into stunt work. I was already ready to flip off of everything. And wrestling made me a better stunt woman. It was such a great compliment to each other. But and the storylines that I got handed were, well, you know why they were so easy and good to do? Because some of them were so true to life. It was crazy. Oh my God, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. And so I don't know if I'm the greatest actor because it was very true going on. But they again let me, we didn't have a women's division too. So, they needed to put me somewhere and work me because I was like chomping at the bit. I'm like, please let me, I wanted to do everything. And they knew they had me to do it. And, and they used me very well. They didn't like use and abuse or do anything, that I was uncomfortable with. So it was great. And I had some good feuds with the men and my partner and even Desire even though we didn't have a women's division, but they did everything that we did. I thought was exciting and great. And yes, we were breaking boundaries because it was like, for a while, I was getting beat up by a guy, and that after a while, all the other girls then wanted to do it. They were like, "No, I want to get hit. I want to get that." And then it started getting like too much, and then people were not liking, and they had to like shut it down. Which I'm like, they ruined it for me. I'm like,
come on, this is my niche you're killing here. Come on now. But I will say this: I think the peak, and Ming, it's going to be 3 photos in a row. This may have been your peak performance. This is TNA. This is when lockdown happened. Go to photo 10, as you talk about making the leap, starting from the top of the cage to number 6, please.
Oh my God!
Taking the leap into number 2, and here it comes. The wipeout move. It takes out all 3 guys. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't Jeff Jarrett, one of the 3 in the ring. Or am I mistaken?
No, he wasn't. It was, I know, blonde. God, I hit my head a lot. I don't remember. That's your job.
I'm trying to remember. It's like,
how do you not have that video? It's on YouTube. It's like a 10-second clip.
It's funny. I was trying to get the clip, but of course, I worry about the copyright infringement.
Oh, right. It's such an awesome video, too, because Mike Tenay and Don West are like,
oh, my God. Tenay had the female Daredevil. The way he said it was just like you could feel the energy off of Today. He did it beautifully.
I loved his Don Westerly. Like he would scream, and at the top of his life, they were the greatest announcers. I loved them. I loved like in the beginning, you kind of like you don't hear it because you're just like so focused. And then I started, when I got more comfortable, I would like listen and I would hear it, and I would be so pumped by them. It made me crazy.
It was a good run over there. It really
that was a great story because I wasn't even supposed to be on that show. I was actually working on a stunt movie. I was on a stunt job. I was doing War of the Worlds, and I was already in New York. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even have me booked, but I'm like, oh my God, this is a pay-per-view. I cannot miss this. I got to go there. I winded up flying in my own dime. I wore that outfit on the plane because I'm like, I'm just going to get there and go and be ready to work. And I show up, and Dusty Rhodes, guy rest his soul, is like, you want to jump off the cage? I'm like, yeah, I do. And they just, I like literally was wearing those clothes, and I had the wrong shoes on, which I didn't realize it. I had these like clunky platform shoes on, and I couldn't fit in the fence. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to climb this, and I cannot climb the fence in these shoes. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't test it out. We don't practice. I didn't my way up there. So I am struggling to get up that fence in those shoes. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to the top. And it worked out though great, but oh my God, nerve-wracking.
Oh, nerve-wracking. But I still say when it comes to moments in your career on TNA, that was the pinnacle. That was it.
Well, and one other one, which was definitely a moment, was the Kid Cash match.
Yeah, and
that
again, the story was setting it up a little bit too. When you think back, yeah.
Was that before? That was way after though, right?
Oh, okay, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Because that was the moment, like men aren't very receptive to the women wrestlers in the locker room and everything, whatever. I'm very respectful, so I never ever had a problem with anybody, but. I wanted to wrestle, be respected for wrestling. If you noticed my outfits in the beginning were very modest. Obviously they changed later on, but that's because the company made me feel very comfortable, and I did it in my time and my pace. But I had like full pants, full cut, like I was covered, and I was like, I'm a superhero and I come to wrestle. I'm not a girl that's going to be naked and doing stupid stuff. And they respected me. They let me do that. And then I gave it up and started giving in to, well, they never asked me to do anything. Then I was like, I want to do that. I felt good. I'm like, I'm getting along wrestling. But when I wrestled Kid Cash in that match, and I give him a lot of credit for, wrestling me and putting me over and letting me do those moves with him. And, that's a big deal for a guy to have to do that with a girl. So it's, and he put me over. And after that match, when I have chills just thinking about it. When I walked back into the locker room, the men were all lined up and all shook my hand and were like, great match. It was awesome. And it was like, I made it. And the respect. And I get emotional. That was the best time in my career.
That's saying something too. Trinity, what happened then? You wind up with WWE, but you wind up on ECW, which had the Sci-Fi Network behind it. And anybody who was a fan of ECW was kind of excited about this chapter. But I'm getting the feeling, just the way you talked about TNA and knowing what you did in TNA, coming over to ECW/WWE, however you want to look at it, it wasn't the same feel.
No. And it was bittersweet because TNA was kind of mad at me when I left, and but it's like, this is WWE. How do you not? You all did it. You're all gonna do it if you get the opportunity, Sure. So it was so bittersweet because I never wanted to leave. I loved it there, and I loved it. But it's like, this is, when I got into wrestling, WWE was all I knew, and I mean, it wasn't even like I was trying to get into wrestling. Just kind of all parlayed into it from the stunt work. But then once I commit to something, I go all out, and you want to get to the top. Right. So. When you had that opportunity, they're really just going to bench you. They're just trying to take the people from here and, kind of break up the company. But I'm like they really need to do that. But when I got there, again, it was such a great opportunity. And I did get to do some stuff there. But yes, it was nothing, they said you're a small fish in a big pond. There was a big fish in a small pond. And yes, would I like to do so much more in WWE? Yes. But then, I broke my knee, right into that, when I was just starting to take off. So that was like a damper on things too. And I guess they looked at that and they were kind of like, you're sidelined. And, but I rehabbed quick and I came back and I was like trying not to be out long. And but then, they had other people they were pushing at the time, Kelly, and, and even Vince McMahon said to me, he's like, I can't, we're pushing her and you'll bury her if we put you out with her, and I was like, oh, that's a nice compliment, but
yeah,
you're not pushing me.
What's interesting, Trinity, is that you have a really good insight to probably what's going on now in 2021, as we've seen over the last few months, so many wrestlers have been released by WWE. Now you got AEW coming on the scene. It's like we're having the war again, like from the late 90s, early 2000s, come back to life on television. I mean, what is your take? Have you seen any of what's been going on here from an outside?
I feel bad because I kind of just did another interview and I'm like, I don't really watch. It's hard for me to watch because I'm not there. Like, I don't really get upset when I'm like watching and I'm not there because I want to be there sometimes. And I'm not, and I'm also not a big TV. I don't watch TV. I'm out. I'm playing. I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff to do.
Sure.
So, and believe me, I want to catch it and I stroll by it once in a while and I'm like, oh, I love when I see good stuff going on. And I know that they're pushing a lot of women, but I really have not watched enough of it to even have an opinion or comment. And I know, and I try to think of something to say about it, but I really don't.
No. And I can totally understand that.
I don't even know who's where. It's just sad because I love it. I love the business. I love the work. Well, not the business. I shouldn't say the business. I love the work. I love what I do, and I want to do it at the time. But then, there was a lot of politics. There's a big. Those jobs are a big mind mess. Sure. You love that you're there, but whoa, man.
So yeah, I can totally understand why it would be difficult to sit there and watch it. Like you said, you'd rather be in the action, not being the spectator and saying,
yeah, I'm not a big spectator.
That's fair.
I don't sit on the sidelines and watch. And, I was trying in the beginning because I'm like, let me keep up because you never know when I get back. But, then just life gets in the way. Like I got a lot of other stuff going on. So I just kind of lost. I really don't watch any TV. I'm terrible.
That's honest. But I will pose this. As somebody, there was a write-up in January that I saw online, and you were rated like the number 3 woman they would love to see come back.
Wow. I would love to. Yeah. I was just talking about this too, that I cannot believe TNA, I'm not a writer and I'm not very good at it, but I could think of a million storylines and a million ways to bring it back. That would be so exciting. I'm so mad. I'm like a big heel. Like, you guys forgot about me. I laid the groundwork. Are you kidding? I would want to fight everyone. It would just be such great storylines to do. I mean, there's so much you could do with it. And I know these are like professional writers. Sometimes I'm like, really? I'm like, unless they just don't want me there. But.
Well, that raises another question where it's somebody like you would be a real asset to maybe some of the smaller circuits because you would probably, as you say, be able to write the storylines. Is that ever crossed your mind where it's like, oh, maybe I'll do that? Because you have the experience between everything and what good art in wrestling is.
I never even thought of that. I mean, I feel like when I know, right? You're coming up with good ideas. I feel like when I left TNA, unfortunately, I feel like there might have been bad blood. And, I'm always like, if there was, I regret that. And I don't, you never know with this business, like what people are thinking, what's going on. And I mean, I even heard rumors of reasons why I was let go with WWE, and I'm like, what? So there's such a rumor mill so bad. So I'm like, oh my God. So if that's going around, who knows why they let me go. And I don't even know why they did. So the story that I got was, we don't have anything for you. I'm like, really? That's like the lamest thing you could ever tell.
Yeah, considering what you can bring.
Really? You can't think of anything. I even got a little more verbal when I was there, and I was telling them storylines that they could do with me, and they came up with one, and then it fell through, and then I went to Dusty Rhodes with a couple, and I saw so many possibilities. I mean, I'm an awesome valet. I could get involved, and there's so many people they could have put me with. So I really think that was a lame thing. So I don't even, it's sad because I said with that business, I never really knew what I was doing there, or they don't let you know anything. And even it's such a professional billion-dollar company and nothing like stunt work. I went there and I was getting hazed by the women and the hair and makeup. They don't treat you good when you go in. I'm like, what? I'm going in there I'm an adult now. I didn't come in this, business at 20. I was already stunt woman for a long period of time. I was professional. I'm older. Wise. I'm not a mess. So I had a brain. I come in there. So to be treated the way I was like, oh my God, it was so weird. Like they threw my stuff out of the locker room, like when I first saw I didn't come there. I'm like, this is so weird. And then hair and makeup wouldn't do my hair and makeup. I'm like, this is like professional. I have to go to photo shoots. Not like I have to go to work and you're not doing the things you have to do. I'm not a professional hair and makeup artist. I'm a wrestler. If I was going to do my hair and makeup, I probably would be a wrestler. And so I remember showing up to one of my photo shoots and they're like, are you going to do your hair and makeup? And I'm like, I did it.
Oh no.
I'm like,
ouch.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was just so weird to be like, I'm like, oh, I'm not in Kansas anymore. Because even TNA was, better at those things. And I'm like, this is like, you made it. This is the big time.
Right.
Even when I had to go to OVW for 2 weeks, I'm like, wow. Okay. But again, I'm so grateful and thankful. And all that. I just was very shocked. It was like a big culture shock and like, wow. And, I guess, it's like a dream for everyone to get there and do that. So nothing would faze anyone. And again, it didn't me either. I was like, when you're at OVW, we were training 5 days a week and we had to carry the ring, the whole ring in and out and set it up. Like we were doing that. It was amazing. It was weird because WWE had a dress code. So I'm showing up like dressed up and then they're like, why are you dressed up? You got to like load the ring. I'm like, no one again tells you anything. You go to nothing. It's crazy. It's like they're testing you every step of the way. And it's like, you're always walking on eggshells. So not so much fun all the time. But once you walk past the curtain, like stuff would melt away. And I'm like, I'm home. I'm in heaven. Like getting to do WrestleMania. I got to do WrestleMania 23, I believe it was. Oh my God. I have to pitch myself every time because that was amazing.
It's interesting. It's like you say, if you can take out some of the politics and some of the innuendo and rumor, it's a great world to be in. Yeah. But it's also interesting because full disclosure, we were talking about this before we got started. When it comes to rumor and innuendo, you've had your share. And you sit there and say, how do they get this wrong? Okay, so they've had you dating certain wrestlers. I mean, IMDb, which I think is a great source most of the time, had you with a 5-year-old son. And I'm like, and I found
that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. The kid's not.
Where was I?
So I found out she doesn't have a son and she's not married. So there you go.
No, I know. I wish.
How do they get this wrong? I don't understand that.
I don't know, unless they mix up with people because, they always confuse like some of us, your brown hair, they confuse a couple.
I mean, you list your name on IMDb. I mean, Finochio is an easy name.
I know, right? You can't get that wrong.
Right, come on.
I think everybody always thinks they know it all and they think they know. And, maybe, like you just have to hear it from someone and then you think they're right. It's almost like everything that's going on in the world right now. Yeah. Just because they say it doesn't mean it's true. Not
necessarily.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, unless you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth. Like, did anyone ask me if I was married and had a kid? I don't think. Because a lot of times, like, even sometimes in stunt work, it's funny. It's like, oh, she's not available. Like, because there's a lot of competition. They're like, did you ask me? Yeah. If you're asking my friend that's 5'6", 120, and she tells you I'm not available, that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah, so it's like, but I am. See,
yeah. You're the same height, weight, and everything, and you're telling them I'm not available.
We are really showing you the cutthroat world of all this. We're letting the guard down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, why not be? Unfortunately, that's my curse and my gift. I'm honest. I don't think I was meant to be in either one of these businesses, like in my heart and soul, but physically and mentally a little bit, but not my heart and soul. But it's like that movie Little Nicky when they were like the devil. Remember that movie?
Yes.
The devil, and John Marino's trying to go, I don't care, I'll sell my soul for a Super Bowl ring. He's like, no, you're too good. That's why I think like these companies wouldn't keep me. Unfortunately, I am a goody two shoes. I'm not saying I'm this like greatest. They definitely have done bad, but I'm not, compared to a lot of other things. I'm not the right fit, I guess.
But
they're not looking for wrestlers.
Right. Okay, but when it came to acting, I mean, you get it. It was a great opportunity when you think back. Give me photo 11 if you don't mind, Ming. When you did this movie, and Jesse gives you a chance, and they were smart enough to market it WWE's Trinity, the whole thing.
Yeah, of course.
It's an indie movie.
Yeah, you need all the help.
Yeah, you're doing everything. But on top of this, if you get one name actor, you've done well in an indie movie. You got three.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric Roberts is a true professional. Armand DeSantis is intense, and William Forsythe's done some great work over this career. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So
my God.
Yeah. So you're walking into So you had to be walking into that situation. You get the script, and you're sitting there going, "Wait a minute, I'm gonna be working with these three. This is a little better than I thought it was gonna be. Wait a second."
I know. I guess I because I'm a good person, I do get lucky a lot in life. I get these opportunities. I might not stay in them forever or long, but I get these great opportunities. I do know a lot of really good people. Like I was fortunate enough to work with these directors and other actors that, you know, and I don't feel like I will never sit there and be like, I'm an actress, I'm a stunt woman. Okay. And, you know, when I get the opportunity and I want to do it, and, you know, but I'm my worst critic. I'm like, I'm harder on myself than anyone ever could be. Like, you know, all those mean critics on the whatever online. You can't be any worse than I am to myself. So don't worry about it. I got it covered. So I push myself really hard and I'm tough on myself. So, you know,
but I will say this about the movie. I mean, it's ambitious. The one thing that I caught about it is like, okay, so you're this cop, but you got a lot of shit going on, for lack of a better term. And you're trying to weave all of this into this movie, which it does successfully at times. It really does. And Forsythe, I love the man. And he just looked like he was very comfortable in his role, and he did it really well. And a steamy scene with Eric Roberts. What was that like?
Well, let me say that William Forsythe was so nice to me. He was so like generous, like great, like totally encouraging me. Like even when the director was giving me notes, he was like, "She's good. She's leaving." Nice. And I was like, you know, just to be going back, but because I'm like so green at that. Like Eric Carpenter gave me like the greatest shot. I'm like, and you know, I hope I pulled it off. Like, you know, everyone gave me compliments and said it was great, but you just never know. They're just being nice, and I like always hope that it turned out to be a great movie. But again, I'm my worst critic, and then I got to do a couple more indies after that. And I do feel like I got better as time went on. Sure. But the Eric Roberts thing is so funny because he was all right. He wasn't super like, I don't want to say nice because everybody's working, but we didn't get to really talk before the scene and at all. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, you know, he was like big star on the set. So he's doing his thing. And he just thought I was an extra around. And I think that he also said too, you know, he's married. His wife was there with him and he's like, no kissing, no nothing, you know, for the scene. And you know, they told me, I'm like, yeah, no problem. It's not like I really want to go kissing strangers either. That's like not usually my role either. I'm a stunt person, you know. And we do the scene and he lays one on me. So like, oh, so after you saw me, then you decided, oh, I do want to kiss. So I was like, okay. So he lays it on me. I'm not expecting it. So I guess I like, you know, I guess I'm not a super professional because I guess I got a little, whatever. He said stiff because we cut and he goes, you're a little stiff on the kiss. I go, because you weren't supposed to be kissing me. But I'm like, I have no problem with that. So take two, let's go.
Let's go.
But improv, I should have, but I really didn't super want to kiss him either. So when he laid it on, I'm like, oh, you now want to kiss me? You don't get to. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And I hope that it turned out to be great. We ended up, you know, getting comfortable and doing our thing. And
right.
But yeah, crazy sex scene. I never do any of that stuff. And now I'm acting and I have to do that.
Right. It's interesting. You are more comfortable doing like a vicious stunt than you are trying to do a kissing scene as an actress. Oh,
yeah. Interesting. I always say that. Put me on fire. Throw me downstairs. Get me with a car. Don't make me act.
So obviously,
I do love challenging myself. So that's been a big challenge in my life. And I got to do like 4 movies. I really have. I have like a little compilation of my movies in my cabinet.
No, you had, and I should mention you had a small role in a film that actually featured. What was it? Alec Baldwin was in the one movie you were in.
What one was that?
See, now I got to look it up again because I had it on my notes.
I don't know, but I know I worked on a lot of independent films because a lot of my friends are directors, so they give me the opportunities. I worked on a horror film called Knock Knock. I worked on The Coalition. I did do another movie after Jesse that I wish this was my big role and the one where I was so comfortable. And we worked on it for the whole year before Sandy. And I think that like put a damper on a lot of things. And the directors, kids were in it and they changed around a lot of things. But it was called Buddy Parker. I'm so upset because my friend that I acted in, what was that other movie after Jesse? Oh my God. It's like,
yeah, it all becomes a blur, doesn't it?
Damn it. Yeah, I hit my head a lot. That was another good one that I was a cop in. Damn, I wish I could think of the name of it. But the actor that was a star in that one, he directed, oh man, probably right in my cabinet right now.
See. And while you're doing that, Ming.
The Night Never Sleeps. The Night Never Sleeps.
Night Never Sleeps. And I'm thinking, I think I found the movie I was thinking of. Ming, click on Back in the Day in the studio here, because I pretty much, that was the movie in 2016 that you had an appearance in, and Baldwin is in the movie. It was a boxing movie, according to, unless you got cut on the cutting room floor. Michael Madsen, Alec Baldwin, Annabella Sciorra. None of this is ringing. See, IMDb screwed up again. All right, great, love it.
I do work on. I'm 25 years in the business, and I do have a lot of credits that sometimes I have to remember. And then, all the independent, and it's funny, the independent film, I'm like doing my hair, my makeup, my wardrobe. I'm like everybody in that movie. And then that's another great thing. Like when you get an opportunity to work on independence and you get, everybody has, you're doing every job. I think there was even parts where I was doing the microphone for people when I wasn't in the scene. So, and this movie, I hope someday comes out, Buddy Parker, because now that after Night Never Sleeps, the main actor, that one, was directing this one. He's like, I'm going to make this like an action film about you. So, I'm going to act in it. I'm directing it. But like, and I offered all my stuff, like everything. I'm like, I have cars, I have boats, I have horses, I have jets. I'm like, we'll put it all in the movie. Everything that I do is in the movie, down to like horseshoes, darts, even speed stack. I mean, like, I was just doing everything that I have a talent in this movie. I was so excited because,
in a weird way, it comes full circle. Like you said, being on the independent wrestling circuit, you had to do everything. So in a sense, indie movies have the same feel to it.
Yeah. I got to do it all. I'm very fortunate. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Like, I mean, and to get to talk about it when you guys want to interview me, it's such an honor and a privilege. And I'm so grateful that you guys make it relevant. Like, you want to know what I do. Like, sometimes I'm like, what do you want to talk to me about? I'm not even doing anything right now. And it's so nice when you guys do that.
But in a weird way, there's little things that pop up. I mean, you're always going to be in some way relevant in the world of wrestling. You're going to be relevant in the stunt world. And then suddenly you get a meme that pops up. Give me photo 9. It pops up and you sit there and go, there's you. I'm like going, come on, that's beautiful. Are you effing kidding me? And there's the hands up. There she is, Trinity. That's a great meme. I don't know.
Oh my God. I know my friend who made that.
Yeah. It's floating around. It's floating around social media. So that's why I was like, I found it. I was like, ooh, that's cool. So that's relevance. If you can be a meme, it's relevance. To think about. Hey, we got Trinity here on the A Game. Time for random shots. These are questions that go basically, I've stalked your social media, I've stalked your life, and I've come up with some questions just to have some fun here. So with that being said, question number 1. At one point in your career, and hopefully I got this right, entrance song you used was Sad But True by Metallica. So when it comes to music, who's on your Mount Rushmore? What bands?
Oh my God, I'm a big Johnny Lang fan. Oh my God, hold on one second.
While we're taking this break, I'll be taking a sip of water as Trinity is probably bringing up something good. And here she comes.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I love all music. I used to work for a DJ company, and I have tons of music in my my list. So I don't like favorites. I'm like, I love every genre. So I don't always have like ones off the top of my head that I could think of, but big Johnny Lang fan, and that's like bizarre. No one even knows who that is usually.
Oh, lie to me. Come on. Johnny is a master on guitar. I know Johnny.
Holy. Yes. How do you know?
No, that's a good pick. That's a very good pick.
Yeah, that's my favorite. And there's another person that sounds just see, I hit my head a lot. I really, when people ask me like specifics, I get very twisted. I can't pull the information out quick enough.
But knowing is half the battle. That's what I said.
I said I hit my head a lot in wrestling and sports. I forget, but It'll usually pop up in in a little while.
Well, here's a bit of a wrestling question. Your finishing move was called the Fall from Grace, which was a great name, by the way. But when it comes to other wrestlers and their names of their finishing moves, which one do you think stands out other than yours? Because it's a good one.
Oh my God, I don't know. Really? You're asking me finishing moves?
I remember what we talked about earlier. Trust me, I know that. So I still had to, I'm like going, I should have just crossed that out.
Oh my God, yeah, I really. And you know what's funny? When I had to work, I worked on a video game and I had to do like all the girls' finishing moves, you know, for the video games. That's me, but it's their bodies. But I had to do all that when I started work for WWE. They sent me to California to do like, I forget which video game it was. And it's funny, even in, when I was doing stunt work, I had to work on a video game for the XFL. That was.
Oh, geez.
Remember that?
Yes.
Crazy how things come full circle. And another weird tidbit, when in my stunt world, before I even was approaching wrestling, I went to a stunt job that was a video game about wrestling. One of the stunt coordinators invited me because I was interested in wrestling. And I was in the ring doing all the moves. And I met Johnny Swinger and Kid Cash. And then, funny, I get into the rest of it. I wind up working with both of them. And I met that stunt world. Crazy. Crazy small world, full circle.
It is a crazy small world, no doubt. I think you might be able to answer this one since we were talking about your movie. Who is more of a badass, Eric Roberts, Armand Asante, or William Forsythe?
That's a crazy. I'm gonna say, it's a toss. Eric Roberts now. It's gonna be a toss up between Armand Asante and William Forsythe, and I'm gonna go with probably. Oh, that's a tough one because it was like mafia. Let's say. And the
funny thing is, Asante and Forsythe both did Gotti. So
I know that's what I'm thinking. They're both in the.
Yeah, one plays Gotti, one plays Sammy the Bull. So you got to say, which one is more of the badass? Then, I go Forsythe because the way he played Sammy the Bull, just for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's like, Eric Roberts got the Oscar nomination, but it's funny. I put this question up to a producer friend of mine, Joe Cernio, and I put him up against his co-star from the Pope of Greenwich Village. So I'm literally going Eric Roberts or his co-star, and it's like, no chance. There's no way Mickey Rourke is going to lose that battle. It's like Mickey Rourke's more of a badass, but it's like, Eric, you're now 0 for 2 on my podcast. He's never.
You know what? It's so bad. I wasn't a big fan of his, and he's such a great actor. But I guess the part, when you grow up and people play parts and they play it so good, you don't like them. When they're such a bad guy. I mean, like I literally remember from Star 80. Isn't that crazy? I'm really.
God, yeah, he got recognized. He got nominated for awards for that performance.
Oh my God! So it was just bad movies and bad. But it's funny when wasn't he in the Untouchables, like right before we started? I'm like, wow, I'm going to be working with them. So then it was a whole different. And now he's like has scenes in like almost every TV show. He just has cameos and everything. So again, an honor. I mean, I just was younger and that's all I knew of him. And I'm like, I don't really like it, but he's definitely a great actor. And to get to work with all three of them again, like, I mean, I got the pictures of it. Then, like, when I got into wrestling, I really got to be in the ring with a lot of legends too. Dusty Rhodes, even Snuka. Oh my God! I mean, there was Jimmy Duggan. I mean, there was so many. I can't remember all, but I know that every time that these people would show up, I would be like, "Am I really here?" Like,
right. That's great. It segues into my next question. Ming, I think it's photo 13 to pull up because we're talking about famous people, and I found this photo, and that's a great photo. Kevin Bacon. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful photo. You're smiling from ear to ear.
I was just gonna say too, like I get to meet all these people when I'm doing stunt work, which is like amazing. And we're all professionals. We're working, so you don't get, you don't really get to be crazy. But like deep down inside, I'm like, oh my God. But I'm so professional around it. But it is amazing to be around like. The only upsetting thing sometimes is like when you like love an actor so much and then they're not
that nice.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times. It's like, that's so disappointing. So I try not to ever pay. And I always give them the such benefit of the doubt. Like, all right, they're working and this and that, but it's like, we all are. So
I'm not going negative. I want to go positive on that.
Yes, all positive. That was awesome. He really punched me in the face. So we had a full fight scene. And awesome to work with. He is such a nice guy to work with. He's such a great professional and actor. I got to do so many great things. I mean, I think one time we were in a meeting, he's like, I think I throw her down the stairs like every other week. He said, he's fell down the stairs so many times for this show for us. We got to do something for her. But on that, we had this big fight scene, and he punched me in the face by accident. And he's such a professional. Did not break scene. Me neither. Like I don't care. It's like I'm like, oh, good, I get to really act now. Like I don't have to act. I get to just do it. You hit me for real. And doesn't break scene. He punches me, and then I go into the train or whatever, and after they say cut, he's like, oh my god, are you already? And that's what I was like. Well, and I never bother the actors because like I'm old school. I've been in the business for so long. Like you never, there wasn't even cameras back then. We didn't have phone cameras.
Right.
And you didn't bring cameras. You weren't allowed to like really talk. It was like you're there like a child. Don't be seen but not heard. Be where you're supposed to be. Don't bother anybody. Don't be in the way. And but I said, he goes, oh my god. I go. So okay, you hit me. So just take a picture of me. I almost was gonna ask him to do Footloose with me because like I know the whole dance. But it was like 4 a.m. We were in Grand Central Station. It was so hot. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask him to do that.
I get the feeling that's about the closest you've come to being starstruck. I think that Bacon moment, because of everything you just went through, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta get a photo. I just gotta get.
Well, it's nice now. You have the phones, and everybody does it now. Like every new person that comes in the business is like videos and taking pictures. So I'm like, what the hell am I not doing this for? This is like good memories. I start taking pictures. I start asking, and it's like, this is for my reel. This is for my resume. So I did start taking it, but it's amazing how many I like missed before that. But I do have pictures with Sandra Bullock, Jennifer Lopez, Kate Winslet. I mean, I started getting them because it's also good to have them to show that who you double for and who you're a good double for. So you just got to have, the nerve and ask them, just make the timing right. But that's what's the problem when you find out that they're not so nice, because it's like, really? I'm asking you so professionally, so nicely, and it's like you're not nice back.
And we're not dishing any dirt on anybody.
No. But everyone should just be nice to everyone all the time.
I agree. Absolutely.
There you go. That's a note.
Random shot for Trinity here on the A Game. Okay. Better Halloween costume. Are we going for photo 8, the ECW Diva Halloween contest, or photo number 4, dressing up for the Gooligans?
Oh, wow. Okay, but now that picture before is a funny story because, that was way before wrestling. That had nothing to do. I wasn't even in wrestling yet. I was just doing a photo shoot and wanted to wrestle. And my girlfriend was like, oh my God, you got to put this caution tape on. You got to hold chains. I wasn't even signed with anyone yet. Okay. And so I was doing that way before everyone. And then it came about that why I brought that back in WWE was like, I had to go against Kelly Kelly. She's like 19-year-old bikini model. Yeah. And we had to do like the body contest. And so at WWE, I had to do that stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to put on a G-string. I'm not getting in a bathing suit. I'm a wrestler.
Right.
So I'm like, I had to think of something that was more comfortable for me and more powerful than, to beat her, because I'm very competitive. I'm like, how am I going to beat a hottie in a G-string? So I'm like, I'm putting on my booty shorts and I'm shock factor. I put that thing on and I went out and I'm like, wow, wow. And let me tell you, won every single time.
Yes, it did.
Every single time.
It got you a lot of exposure, every pun intended there too. I'm sorry about that.
And again, I was trying to avoid that, so just had to
that's the funny part. It's like in TNA, it was a different story. It was weird. It's like you're saying, you kind of go over here and it's like, okay, can we talk about my wrestling, the dive off? I
knew that though, because I knew, that's what WWE, like, I was even like, oh my God, I got to do these like lingerie battle royales. So I was like finding clothes that I'm like, I got to be comfortable in to wrestle, but it's going to be suitable. Thank God though, like midway through WWE, it was like, they were getting rid of all, like, because everyone was just trying to outdo everyone, that eventually everyone's going to be naked because, it's like, oh my God, she's so sexy, I have to be sexier. And then they were like, everybody go back to wrestling outfits, and we had to get okayed with what we wore, and they were trying to like, come on, get dressed. We're like, yeah.
Two more questions here on Random Shots. Favorite thing to do to unwind or just escape?
Well, I'm a big animal. I have animals. I have a horse, so I just love to go to my barn and disappear into the woods and rock. right into the winds. And that is probably my biggest escape. I have, a lot of things. I'm very nature and outdoorsy. Love to hike, mountain bike, paddleboard, kayak. I'm definitely about motors. Like I'm in race boats and race cars, and I love fast and stuff. But I love then the quiet, the nature, and disappearing. So that's my big unwind. Yes, I love golf.
You just asked my next question because I've seen that you were a golf fan. How good are you?
What?
How good are you at golf?
I'm not bad. I never toot my own horn and brag. So I'm not super great, but I can hold my own on the golf course, and I can play with like really good people. I'm not saying, I don't really know my handicap because I don't play enough, and I don't even really know how to do that. I'm not a tournament player, but people invite me and I can play with people. I learned very good course etiquette, so everyone lets me come with them. And I know I am. I'm fun to be on the course. I'm fun to be. Who doesn't want to? Trinity playing golf? No, I'm just kidding. But I can play. I can hit the ball. I've cranked out drives, definitely like 300 yards, and like those are like a shot in the dark. But I have I play at my one course all the time.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I've had like 240, and like again, everything. All the planets have to be aligned, and that one comes out. But I've had 200 plus. I probably like off a little with 300. I think I have 240 was like my.
Yeah, but
I have to come.
Right.
I'm all excited. 240. I know that because I play on my 2 courses. All like I would play like almost every day 9 holes. I don't always get out and play 18, but I'm like almost every day in the summer 9 holes. Nice. And I play there's 2 courses like left and right to me, and I play all the time. Love it. I wish I would start early, and I wish I would go pro because I love it.
Well, are you still out on Long Island?
Yes.
Okay, because now when it comes to golf, and I think of Long Island, I got to think of Beth Page. That comes right.
I don't always go play there because that is like there's so many. It's so confused to me. I like my little comfortable. I play Bergen. I play what's the one over here? Right next to me. Shit, it's like Umpqua, not the Umpqua. It's Peninsula and Bergen. Those are my 2. But I when I first started, I played up and down the whole island. I have like this map, and I was like filling in all the dots. So I played a lot of places. Swan Lake. Some of them I don't even remember. But I have all my cards because when I first started, my first game I shot in 95. So I was like, but that was
95. Damn it.
But that was complete luck, like beginner's luck. And then, then I got so serious about it, and then my numbers like climbed into the high hundreds. But now I'm like, I have broke 80. I'm trying to think if I ever broke 70. Like I said, I always play 9. So like, and then I'll do back to back sometimes. But I'm like, when I leave big, stints where I don't play, then I'm like, I'm almost there, like to break 70, and then I got to start over. But I flew. I used to live in California, so when I moved back here, I left all my stuff there. So I flew to California and drove my car, all my stuff back, and I played golf the whole entire way back, like double rounds, 18 holes some days, and I played it every state because like California played in the redwood forest with the trees. Then I'm playing in the desert. I play amazing golf. I like tracked it on the plane, like my trip.
I love that.
That was another amazing. So I really love golf. I like when I'm going to retire and just play golf the rest of my life.
Well, yeah, but here's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if I took her on an 18, you're going to kick my ass. I mean, it's taken me 20 years just to be bad at this damn game. I mean, God.
I say that is the hardest. And I played everything. So I tell everybody that's not into golf or whatever, I'm like, it's the hardest game in the world. It's so mental and physical. Because even people like, I used to not like it. I used to make fun of it because I'm like, this should be a motocross track. But now I respect it and understand. And I say it is a physical enough. And, if you walk in or you're not good, you're taking a lot of stroke. It's very physical. And the mental is so mental that you feel physically trained after.
No, that's true.
So it's such a great balance. And it is such a great sport. And it's so hard to ever perfect it. So you can never get bored of it. And you can never master it, really, like I should say. Well, you can master it.
I don't ever get bored of it. It's always that challenge of like, this time I'm going to shoot this, and then you don't.
When you get that one shot, it'll always take you back. I have like 3 of those that I have this like knockdown shot through the woods. I took with my 3 wood, and I'm like, I see the flag through the trees, and I'm like, if I don't get it, I'm not good enough to get it. But if I get it, and like I read right before I went like on the plane, I was reading like to have the angle to do a knockdown shot through the trees. Right. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try it. And oh my God, flew through all the trees perfect. Like I saw the Matrix and it got on the green. I don't even remember how far I was, but then I did another 5 wood, like around a dog leg right that like got on the green. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Fantastic.
Yeah, those shots, you just keep coming back. You never up. And I'm not like a sore loser. I never break my clubs or go crazy. I just get disappointed because it's like if I don't play good, it's still a great day on the course. Like I love
where's the 19th hole? I need a shot. There you go.
Oh my God, I love that's like my favorite sport in the whole world, and I've played everything.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Great.
Yeah, I think that and surfing are the 2 hardest things ever to do.
No, I would agree with that completely.
Yeah. Because they're both constantly changing, and you could, like I always say with every other sport, like you get on a basketball court, it's going to be the same all the time. You know, the surfing, the water's never the same. The speed, the depth, the length, the whatever, the waves, and same thing with golf. You know, the way they trim the grass, the dew, the wind, the everything, how you hit the ball. So much could go wrong from here to here with this little thing. So you just can't ever just sit there and like practice on the same course every time. It's just always good. Even if you play the same course, it's still different all the time.
Yeah, we're going to get you to Jersey at some point. I know.
I think I actually put. Is there a Trump course in Jersey?
Yeah, there is.
I played there. I think.
I heard it's a challenging course too.
I played there. I had a friend that was a member there, and I was invited, and it was amazing. But yeah, I mean, Jersey's not far at all. I'm always in Jersey. Where do you live in Jersey?
Right on the Jersey Shore. I'm over by Asbury Park.
Okay. I used to race jet skis over there. Everything. Jersey's like, everything is on in Jersey.
It's true.
You always have to go to Jersey. Something's going on that you're doing. There's always work of some kind or fun of some kind. So
let me mention actiontrinity.com to find out more about what our lady here has got going on in her life. And this has been a blast. The time flew.
I know, right? Could go on for like it's always like a hard thing when I first start that I'm like I talk forever and I have a big mouth and I just
like I said, I think broadcasting may be your next thing. You just seem like a natural, so keep that.
I don't know. Would I let my guest get a word in extra?
Hey, you're the star. I'm just a facilitator. I got the easy job.
Wow,
Trinity,
awesome.
So much. This is a blast.
Yeah, it's always awesome when you guys make us feel so good about ourselves because, like, we do this stuff and you like to know that people love it and there's fans and and it's relevant. And so it's like awesome. It's like wow. Not only do I love it, but if you make other people happy and it's just something cool that it's just awesome to talk about. You make me happy bringing up these awesome memories of my life. So I always appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure indeed. Hey, we'll be back next Wednesday night, so check me out, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. My thanks to Stephanie Finochio, Action Trinity one more time. Check you out next week. My love, take care. Good luck.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it.
Much love. Appreciation.
Thanks again for watching the A-Game this week. I'm glad you're still here because now I can tell you that I have a YouTube channel. Well, you actually may be watching it on the YouTube channel. So if you're not on my YouTube channel, subscribe to it now. If you are subscribed, thank you. Spread the love. Share it. Let everybody know why they should be subscribed to the A-Game with Rob Akampora. Because you're having fun, right? Let people know. Please, don't make me beg.